Hey YouTube, welcome back to my channel. Today is just going to be a random chat about a variety of fragrant things, some new additions to my collection, a bunch of discovery sets, samples, candles. So if you're interested in hearing a bunch of rambling thoughts about nothing in particular, then stick around. The first thing we're going to talk about is this candle set from Boy Smells. This is a set of 4 votive candles. It's their holiday collection. I actually really wanted this last year, but I didn't notice it until the holidays were basically over. So when I saw this come out this year, I jumped on it. And I haven't really had that much experience with Boy Smells before. And I think now that I've had experience with the candles, I probably don't need to try out their fragrances. Not because I didn't like the candles, but for me, I really don't like to conflate or mingle candle fragrances and perfume fragrances. For some reason, I really hate it when a perfume smells like a candle. And so in my mind, if I'm buying candles from a company, I really don't want to be buying perfumes from that company. I know that doesn't make any sense at all, but I've got to keep them separate in my mind. That being said, let's go through the candles. The first one is Hinoki Fantôme, and this one is not actually just a holiday candle. I think this is part of their permanent collection, and I think it's one of their more popular ones. But this one smells really great. When I smell it cold, it smells like you would expect. Hinoki is like a Japanese wood sauna clean smell, and this is very much that, and I think that's a great home fragrance. The problem with this one was that it really didn't have very much throw when I lit it, when I burned it. And so the performance, I guess you could say, is the worst among this group. But these vessels are really pretty. This one is like a silver metallic reflective thing. The next one here is Holiday Smells, and I didn't like this one at all. You can probably tell from how much I burned, but I think the name here is a pun because I think it's supposed to be like a tropical holiday, like a Hawaiian vacation. This one to me smells like a buttery white floral gardenia with some cardamom. And a thing I've learned about myself over time is that I just really cannot appreciate a buttery white floral, which this definitely is. It also smells kind of the most like run-of-the-mill of the bunch. Like it definitely smells like a candle you could get at TJ Maxx. I don't know, I just wasn't impressed with that one. The one that I liked the most out of the box was this one. It's Insensorial, and it's an incensey smell, but with like an orangey top and also some cardamom. This one smelled really great, and I really like the way that you can kind of tell on these vessels, as you burn them, these glass vessels, which have like a foil coating, there's like a window where the words are written and it glows through that, and it's very pretty when it burns. And the last one here is Broken Rosary. This one is kind of like a rose gold. You probably won't be able to tell because it's just gonna look like my skin. But this is my favorite of the bunch after I burned through most of them. This one smells like rose, incense, orris, or iris, I guess, and it's very powdery. It's very clean smelling. It's a little bit contemplative. It's also a little bit like bohemian, a little bit hippie smelling. I liked it a lot. As to whether or not I would buy any of them in the full size, I kind of doubt it. I go back and forth with candles where I'll burn them a lot for a little bit and then not at all for a long time. But if I were to get one, I'd probably get Broken Rosary. It is really a nice smell. Okay, next up, I'm gonna talk about a fragrance that I just got in yesterday. This is Bamboo Harmony by Kilian, or Kilian. You know, it used to be by Kilian, and now I think it's just Kilian, but I like saying by Kilian. Anyway, I've talked about this fragrance in a previous video. I had the by Kilian travel spray discovery set with like 8 or 9 travel sprays of their most popular fragrances. And I really fell in love with Bamboo Harmony. I went through the 8 ml travel spray in like a month. And after I finished it, I craved it and I kept thinking about it. So I kept an eye out for it on eBay. And I finally got this one for 88 bucks, which is a steal because the actual MSRP on this thing is like $300, which is ridiculous. This is a 50 ml bottle. And there is nothing special or expensive about this fragrance, but I really love it. It smells like green tea, and it smells like, I don't know, it's kind of sweet. It's very easy to wear. It smells like the name suggests. It smells like peaceful, spa-like, and I wear it to the gym, and it just makes me happy. And I'm happy that I now have a full bottle. And the bottle itself is really pretty. So there you go. Next up is something I bought a couple of months ago. I think right around the time of my birthday, I went to the mall and I was just shopping to be shopping. And there was actually a Malin Goetz store at the mall. This is at Century City Mall in Los Angeles. And the mall was so busy and like every store was packed, but there was literally nobody in this Malin Goetz store. It was like in a sad corner of the mall. And I went in and I smelled one fragrance, which was dark rum. And I was really actually pretty impressed. And so I bought the Discovery set. And it's a cute little set. Comes with 6 fragrances: bergamot, cannabis, dark rum, leather, strawberry, and vetiver. And it was really affordable. I think it was like 24 bucks or something. And I have really enjoyed smelling. I haven't smelled leather yet. So I haven't done all the fragrances, but I've given full wearings to all the other ones. If you would like to have a deep dive on these, let me know. I'll do a separate video. But probably the standout, well, none of them were like standout fragrances. None of them were anything that I had to have. They were all just okay. Well, they were better than okay. They were like, I'd say they're on par with like the Joe Malone Zara fragrances. And they're not super expensive. The one that was most interesting was strawberry. Strawberry has like, it does have a small strawberry smell, but it's mostly like a weird iris fragrance, very powdery. I'd have to go back and smell it again, but that one was really, really intriguing. Anyway, Malin Goetz, the Discovery set. Then another Discovery set. This is the Discovery set from Neela Vermeire. A friend gave this to me, and this has 6 samples in it. This box is really cute, by the way. This one has Treillis, Mohair, Bombay Bling, Ashoka, Piccola, and Rahel. And these fragrances were all pretty good, I'll say. Very high quality, very interesting. They all kind of smell a little samey, I think, though. Very similar to each other. You can definitely tell they're from the same collection. They're also all very formal, I think. Or, yeah, they're pretty formal. Like, none of them are casual scents, I wouldn't say. They all have this, I think the brand's inspiration is basically like Paris by way of India. And you get both of those kind of contexts, but just something about them was very dressed up, very kind of like the same way I feel about Chanel, which is they can be beautiful fragrances, but they really don't fit my lifestyle, which is wearing shorts and Birkenstocks 24/7 and living at the beach. But these were all interesting to try. Again, if you want me to do a deep dive on any of these, let me know in the comments. Then I got this Discovery set. I've been on a Discovery set kick lately. This is from Santa Maria Novella. And this packaging is really charming. It's not like very expensive paper or anything, but it opens up like this. And then this way. And it always feels like it's gonna rip, but it hasn't yet. And the fragrances here are Acqua della Regina, Frisia, Rosa Gardenia, Rosa Novella, Angeli di Firenze, Melagrano, Tobacco Toscano, and Potpourri. And I've really enjoyed sampling this house. Not all of the fragrances have been a hit, but there's definitely a cool DNA here, which is very Italian. And by that, I mean, they're somewhat simple. They're very classic smelling. All of these are a little bit retro smelling. And they all have this clean, soapy, hygienic thing about them. Very charming. And I actually tried 4 others from this house as well that they have like a new, more expensive collection. These are all eau de colognes, and then they have like a eau de parfum collection. And from that one I tried Gelsomino, which is the jasmine, Magnolia, the new Iris one, and there's one more. Oh, a very interesting one called Bizarria, which is a citrus fragrance, and I really like that one as well. I would like to do another video on this one because I think this house is worth talking about. So we'll see. Then I got this. This is a discovery set from Maison Rebatchi. This is like a newer kind of niche house out of Paris with this one guy. I forget his name. I guess his name is Rebatchi. Mohammed Rebatchi. Hired a bunch of perfumers and created his own fragrance line. And I'll see if I can pull one of these out. So you may not be able to see, but this one is, for instance, Rose Rebatchi, and on each vial it lists the perfumer's name. So this one is by Rhonda Hamami. And so it's kind of got like this Frederick Malle thing going on about it. I enjoyed testing these, I'll say that. I'm not gonna buy any of them. Some of them were really awful, but some of them were pretty good. The theme here was, as I try each of them, I didn't really like them, but I thought to myself, if these were designer fragrances, I would love them. Because they all had like interesting concepts. They just don't really compare to other niche fragrances asking the same amount of money. But they were fun to try. There's like a Maurice Roussel in here. There's a Natalie Feistauer in here. And a Bertrand Duchefort. So they're interesting fragrances. I could see myself coming back to do an in-depth review on these because it was fun trying them out. And there's not a ton of information. And this packaging is really pretty. Then I ordered this. This is from Eris Parfums. And it took me a while to get to this set, considering that I have really enjoyed trying the stuff from Les Indémodables and Les Abstraits. This house is related in that they are all designed by Antoine Lee, who does a lot of perfumes for Les Indémodables and did all of the perfumes for Les Abstraits. And I think they might actually now be, all 3 of those companies, like financially intermingled somehow. I'm not quite sure. But this was founded by a woman named Barbara Herman, I think, and she ran a blog about vintage perfume. And so these are all kind of like inspired by vintage fragrances. And they have interesting concepts, but if I'm honest, I really haven't liked any of them except for one. I really like this one, which is MXXX, which it is like a limited edition apparently, but I think it came out like 6 years ago and still available. But it has like a big dose of ambergris, real ambergris, quote unquote. I don't know. I hate to be sold on stuff like that, but it is a really beautiful fragrance. The rest of them, I should really do an in-depth review on this set because they are very interesting and very well done, but in each of them there's something, an ingredient that's overdosed in each of them that becomes played out very quickly. Like they become boring very quickly because there's like kind of predictable. Like there's an extreme element in every single one of them. And I don't know. Maybe they just didn't work on my skin. But I know there's a lot of people who really love these. Also, these fragrances, I think, came like this one I haven't tried yet. It's called Night Flower. And they didn't come very full. There's a big gap in there. Maybe it's not that bad, but it looked pretty severe when all of them were that way. Anyway, that's my discovery set from Eris. Okay, and this isn't a discovery set, but I bought 9 fragrances from a company called Frater Perfumes, and they have an interesting story. It's basically a one-man show. It's an indie perfumer, and I came to know about him because he's very active on Base Notes. And I think the story is he had a startup, an internet startup, and sold it, and then dedicated his time to perfume. And he is like a self-described perfume obsessive and self-taught. Very interesting guy. And he opened a store selling perfume ingredients, so naturals and bases of his own creation. And additionally, he sells fragrances under a different name. So his perfume material store is called Frater Works, and his perfumes are Frater Perfumes. And I've really enjoyed sampling these so far. There's not a lot of reviews on them on the internet because it's a very small brand, only launched in 2022. But the thing I'll say about it is that they have such high quality packaging for a little indie brand. Like, these samples come on these carded cards, I guess, and they have all the notes listed and a little bit of blurb and the ingredients and a word from the brand on the back. And the samples are so much nicer than like most samples you get from a real brand, even something like Dior. Very, very classy. The scents themselves are very good. They do not smell at all like indie perfumes. They are extremely well composed. The thing I like most about them actually is that none of them are explorations on like one ingredient. It's not like tuberose or labdanum. They're all kind of narrative and abstract. Some of them feel a little bit derivative, like Cherry Pop, I think, is supposed to be kind of like a Lost Cherry, Tom Ford thing. Candy Mouth is definitely a Baccarat Rouge kind of DNA. But they all have little tweaks to make them different. My favorite so far has been this one, Bedlam, which is apparently about, I guess the perfumer fell in love with somebody, and then they ended up going nuts and had to get sent to a literal asylum or something. And so this perfume is about that, or dedicated to them or something, I don't know. But the fragrances themselves are very, very good, very affordable. The house is based out of New Zealand, and I ordered these samples. They were not expensive at all, and they shipped fairly quickly, and they actually forgot to include Bedlam in it. And I emailed to let them know that they could either like resend it or just give me a refund for the $6 or whatever. And they actually sent this one sample all the way from New Zealand to my doorstep, like through DHL tracked and everything. So very good customer service as well. Highly recommend checking out this house. Okay, and to finish off, just a few little random assorted samples. I tried a couple from Frater Perfumes, and I really enjoyed them. Again, this is like a one-man show indie perfumer, but they smell not at all indie. They're like very well done, very high quality ingredients, interesting, and I really enjoyed them. Then I was gonna go buy the Discovery set, and for whatever reason, their website, the whole store was closed down for like several weeks, and so I haven't gotten around to doing that, but I probably should. I got a sample recently of this one. This is Tonka Bodycon by Pierre Guillaume. I tried a couple from this house before and couldn't get into it. This one is another example of, it's basically a clone of Ambre Narguilé or Wajan. It's that like apple pie, cinnamon, sweet, warm fall fragrance, but it's nice. I don't know, it's not a scent profile that I'd wear, but I did enjoy trying it and I liked it more than I thought I would. It reminded me of Thanksgiving. It's kind of gourmand and it's got an apple note, very interesting apple note. But ultimately just probably not something I would ever buy or wear. I tried this from Essential Parfums. This is the Musk by Khalees Becker, who actually did Bamboo Harmony. And this has a very, very nice opening. It smells like lavender and ginger. And I really enjoyed sampling it, but it was kind of like, how do I describe it? It smelled really nice, but it just didn't excite me at all. I'm really into kind of like white musk fragrances too, but just there's so many in that space that you have to really shine in order to stand out. I will say though that this brand is like cool because it's very affordable. I think you can get a 100 ml bottle for like, I don't know, 88 euros or something. I might be wrong about that, but I enjoyed sampling this one. This one I wanted to share just because I thought it was funny. I got this in a Lucky Scent order. They included it. It's Montal's Beast Love. And I just think that's the worst name ever for a fragrance. Beast Love. Like, I wonder were there no English speakers in the room when they decided on this marketing campaign for Beast Love? Ugh. And finally, this is not like a saving the best for last or anything, but I tried this one from Il Profumo. It's Patchouli Noir. And I think I'd heard Ryan from The True Connoisseur talk about this one once. He's another YouTuber. I really liked trying this one. It was like a chocolatey patchouli. Very, again, Italian in that it was like aromatic and felt very natural, very clean for a patchouli fragrance. I'm looking at these notes here now on the card, and yes, there was like a big mint note that was cool, and the cedar made it feel kind of clean and woody. I enjoyed it. Anyway, YouTube, those are my thoughts on a variety of scented products. Let me know what you've been checking out recently, and have a great day.